At some point in their lifting journey, almost everyone thinks they have bad genetics. But chances are, you really don't know yet. Today we're going to talk about why most people who think they have bad genetics are probably wrong. Let's take myself for example. This is what I looked like before I started lifting. We can all agree this doesn't exactly look like amazing genetics. How about after 2 years lifting? Still nothing crazy, right? How about 4 years in the gym? A little bit better, right? Now, how about 7 years in the gym? All of a sudden, the genetics don't exactly seem as terrible. Look, I'm not trying to sit here and tell you I have amazing genetics. In fact, I think they're fairly average. The point is, everyone has quote-unquote bad genetics until they don't. What do I mean by this? Unless you're within the top 10%, you really cannot assess your genetics within your first few years in the gym. You might think you have bad genetics, then a few years go by and you realize they weren't really bad at all. The only guys where you can really definitively make a statement on their genetics within the first few years are the truly elite. When it comes to the guys in the 90th percentile or higher, you can really tell early on that their genetics are elite. Take Phil Heath for example. This is him in high school as a basketball player with a better physique than 90% of guys will ever achieve. And this was before social media was a thing, with every teenager trying to become a fitness influencer. So as a high school basketball player, do you really think his routine was optimal for muscle growth? Probably not. His genetics are just that good. And as history would tell you, Phil Heath went on to become one of the most accomplished bodybuilders ever. Clearly, he has some of the best genetics ever. So let's take a look at someone a bit further down. How about Jeff Nippard? Keep in mind, both of his parents were bodybuilders. Here's his before and after. How many of you guys look as good as his before picture? Probably not a ton of you. And of course, he goes on to become a champion natural powerlifter and bodybuilder. Again, just looking at his before picture, you can tell he has good genetics. But for everyone else, you cannot tell if you have bad genetics until you have many years of proper training, diet, and recovery. And yes, proper. Take Jax Fit for example. He is probably one of the few examples you can find of quote-unquote bad genetics, because most people aren't blowing up online for being super skinny. Year after year, people make fun of him for making no progress and staying skinny. Some of you might be in the same boat. But does he really have bottom 10% genetics? It's possible. Or is it more likely that he doesn't train properly and he doesn't eat enough? Going back to my first 2 years in the gym, you might look at these pictures and think this guy's genetics suck. But simply looking at a before and after strips away any context. The first year, I didn't even track my lifts. So how much was I really progressing? And how good was my form? Certainly not perfect. Needless to say, I didn't make as many gains as I could have. So when you look at your own progress photos, really be honest with yourself and ask yourself, was I doing everything properly? Don't just say, oh, I have bad genetics, and absolve yourself of any accountability. When you have average or below average or even bad genetics, you don't have the luxury of just doing anything in the gym. You have to actually do things properly for a long period of time. I'm talking years to see results. You can see when I actually figured things out and started doing things properly, my physique made big improvements. Here's the problem. Lots of guys, myself included, get to that point where they've been lifting for a few years and haven't exactly made the results that they would have liked. Then they compare themselves to what they see on social media. All of these guys making freakish transformations after just a year or 18 months of lifting. You see that and it becomes, welp, clearly I have bad genetics, so there's no point in trying anymore. And then you quit. So after 1 or 2 years of pretty crappy training and not seeing results, they think they've hit the point of diminishing returns. The reality is they probably just have average genetics and will need to train for much longer to reach their desired physique. It's like that meme of the guy mining for diamonds. He's mining and mining and mining, and yet he's not finding anything, so he turns around and he gives up. Yet right on the other side of the wall were all the diamonds. Don't be that guy. You can build an amazing physique with average genetics. You might be thinking, but Tyler, I train optimally, I do everything right, I must have bad genetics. I'll tell you this, if you've been training for 3 or less years, I promise you, you are not doing everything properly. And that's fine. Almost no one does everything properly at the beginning. This goes for everything in life, not just building muscle. Just because you watch hours and hours of Jeff Nippard and Mike Israetel on YouTube every night doesn't mean you know what you're doing in the gym. And there are so many factors that go into building muscle, it's almost a 0% chance that you have every single thing dialed in your first few years. If you want to learn more about what could be holding back your muscle growth, go ahead and watch my other video here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.